Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciplined Mind podcast for Tuesday, June 7th, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So one of the things I've been kind of thinking about a little bit as I'm trying to think about strategies with my writing as I move past this class, because it's beginning to feel like, it's soon, because it's next week. Oh my God. And one of the things I thought about, should I get a pen name? I don't know that my name is distinctive enough. Is it distinctive enough? Should I get a pen name? And then if I should get a pen name, what should that pen name be? And I've been thinking about this for, a week and a half or so, off and on. I mean, not constantly, but every now and again it pops in my brain. And I was thinking about it again this morning. And a little while back, I did a search for my name on Amazon and say, okay, so let's see, are there 13 billion people with books out there named Keith Hughes? The answer to that is absolutely not. In fact, if I do a search for my name, the only books I come up with authors of my name are my books. Now, because of the way Amazon searches, it's searching, at least on my app. I haven't gone online to see if there is an actual search by author name equal Keith Hughes. But if I just using my mobile Amazon app, if I search for me, I get a bunch of results that pop up before my book, 20 or so, but they're not books with my name. Some of them might have a Keith that wrote it, but the last name is not Hughes. There was one that was there were a couple that had a last name of Hughes, but the first name was different, including one with my dad's first name, although it was not a book written by my dad. So I thought, well, okay, so it's not like I'm John Smith, and there's 8 billion people out there with books by John Smith. So I thought, okay, well, that's maybe I don't need to worry about it. But I was ruminating about it again today, and I thought, well, what would I use for a pen name? And the one that easily pops to mind is to use my grandfather's name on my mother's side. He was a writer and editor for Popular Mechanics. I think I've talked about him before. And my middle name comes from him. And I've used his name before in The Gorilla Poet. And I've always kind of felt, especially once I got back into writing, after a bit of it, I always kind of felt like, even before that though, I always kind of felt like we had a connection, which is weird because it's after his death, really. He died when I was in 3rd grade, I think. I didn't get to know him that well because they were 2-3 hours away. So I saw him a few times, but not a lot. I didn't get to know him as well as I got to know my father's father. But I don't know. I've always just kind of felt the linkage there. So I thought, well, that would be a good pen name. So I had a couple minutes, just 2 minutes ago before I was leaving for work, and I did the search for my name again to see if anything popped up. And I thought, okay, well, then let's search on my grandfather's name. And there were a number of hits. And what surprised me was they were hits for books. Well, the first one that popped up was a book I have. A book that I'm not sure that he wrote it. He might have edited this one, but it's called The Boy Engineer. And I have a copy of this thing, and it was a book for talking about various engineering careers, written for boys the 1950s, 1960s probably, to say, hey, here's some areas you might want to think about getting into for careers when you get older, kind of thing. And it's a cool little book. I looked through it a few times. So they're selling that, and I'm like, what? So people are selling, and I always knew you could sell used books, but I really wasn't expecting to see a book listing with my grandfather's name there. And I get looking through it, and there was. I mean, some of them are on there multiple times, like the Boy Engineer. There's a couple, 3 different people that are selling the Boy Engineer. There's one book called American Transportation that I have, although it looks like it's gotten waterlogged. And I believe that is the book where he dedicated it to my mother. And then there were a couple other ones that were all Popular Mechanics titles, but that he wrote or he edited. And I'm kind of tempted, and they were all pretty cheap. I'm kind of tempted to spend a little money and kind of complete my collection of my grandfather's books. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I might be spending a little bit of money. I mean, like I say, they were all under $10. Of the one that I think he dedicated to my mother, there was one that said it was collector grade as far as condition, and that was like $5 something with $3 shipping and handling. I mean, can't really beat that for a price. So I could probably spend $30 and get everything that's out there, a copy of. I don't need to get the Boy Engineer. It's a copy I have. It's actually in pretty good shape, because I think he gave that to me. I might have actually gotten that when he was still alive. I actually honestly do not recall, but I might have. So yeah, it was kind of a, Rod Serling moment. Am I going to find out that, he's still alive and really old and publishing books out of, Hammond, Indiana, which is where they were from? But no. But it was kind of that bit of dissonance where it's just like, what? He's listed on here as an author? What? But, so it's kind of cool, kind of neat. I still, the books are out there. Apparently he did his thing. He did his stuff with his middle initial. So if I was going to use his name, I would probably want to do it without his middle initial, so that people wouldn't. So the two sets of books wouldn't necessarily get linked together. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about today. I really didn't know what I was going to talk about, but when I saw that listing, I thought, oh, I gotta share that, because that was just wild. That was really just wild. It's like getting a voicemail from your long lost relative. Anyway, I am planning on being back tomorrow. We've got, you be swerving in my way. We got nephew graduating. So we will be out in the afternoon, but my plan is to get a podcast out in the morning. Get her done and get her up. So, I plan to be on tomorrow, and I will be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.